What's up? What's going on? Hey, it's Jotivation, aka Joe Moss here, also known as Coach Joe, and welcome to the Finding Your Water podcast, where each week we explore the power of a growth mindset and how it can help us achieve success in all areas of our lives. So in this episode, we're going to be discussing the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, and how having a growth mindset can lead to greater success and fulfillment. First, let's define what a fixed mindset is. A fixed mindset is the belief that our abilities and characteristics are set in stone and cannot be changed. People with a fixed mindset tend to shy away from challenges and may give up easily when faced with a setback. On the other hand, a growth mindset is the belief that we can develop and improve our abilities through hard work and perseverance. So people with a growth mindset approach challenges with a positive attitude, knowing that with effort, they can improve. So we must understand that, research has shown that having a growth mindset can lead to greater success in both personal and professional settings. Those with growth mindsets tend to have a more positive attitude towards challenges and setbacks, and are more likely to bounce back from failure. They also tend to have and be more resilient and motivated in the face of obstacles. Okay, but this not just about being positive and optimistic. Having a growth mindset is about being open to learning and growth. And being willing to put in the hard work and effort in order to improve. So, how can we develop a growth mindset? One way is to remind ourselves that our abilities are not set in stone and that we can improve with effort. It's also helpful to embrace challenges and to see them as opportunities for growth rather than viewing them as threats. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about how to successfully apply a growth mindset, into our lives, and how we can achieve great success in our career and personal lives. We're going to share some stories. We're going to share some tips on how to develop a growth mindset so we can start overcoming these obstacles that we face on a daily basis. So thank you for tuning in to this episode. And I pray that it will bless your life. So we are in a situation where we have gathered in this new year. And every year, people set resolutions. Are you one? Are you a person that has set a New Year's resolution? What is it? Like what is it that you set this year that now you're trying to achieve? And I asked the question, what have you set in the past that you're still trying to achieve? And a lot of us are still working on 2020 resolutions, 2021 resolutions. Maybe you got a resolution from 1985 that you have yet to accomplish. I don't know. But I noticed that if as we grow and we develop from year to year, we got to make sure that we're beginning to change the way that we think. But at the same time is that as I looked a little bit deeper, I realized that part of this is that we got to change the way that we see and begin to reimagine our lives. Reimagine, some of the things that we're doing and how we've done them. And that's going to be the way for us to grow and develop. Now, remember, we want to be a person of a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. So let's just talk about what it means to reimagine. So reimagining is a process of looking at something in a new or different way and considering new possibilities or approaches. It is a way of thinking that encourages creativity and innovation and can be applied to various areas of life. So here are some tips for effectively reimagining things. Number one, we can start with an open mind and be willing to consider a wide range of possibilities and be open to new ideas. Number two, we can look for inspiration. Seek out new sources of inspiration, such as reading about other people's experiences and exploring new places. The third thing we can do is that we can get feedback. Talk to others about your ideas and seek their input and perspective. Another one is number four is that we got to be flexible. Be willing to adapt and change your approach if it's not working. Sometimes we stick with things way too long. Things that we actually need to change, but we don't because we're holding on to it for whatever reason. Number 6 is take action. Once you have a new idea or approach, take action to put it into practice. Like, you know what I mean? So we have to be deliberate with our practice. Like, you can't just show up and shoot bad shots every day practicing in basketball. You got to make sure you're practicing the right form and doing the things that are going to actually help you get better. And number 7, we got to complete it. We got to see it through until you finish and get the results. I know a lot of us start things, especially at the new year or the beginning of the week or something in that regards. But how many of us actually finish? How many of us actually see things to the actual completion of the thing we started and we set out to do? So reimagining can lead to new opportunities and possibilities and help us to think more creatively and solve problems, more effectively. And so by approaching things with a willingness to try new things and to think outside of the box, we can open ourselves up to new experiences and growth. And this is what it's all about. I mean, do you really want to stay the same you this year again? And then not have the opportunity to actually grow and develop into who you are actually called to be? It's amazing how we can be in a situation and God can call for us to do more. We have all these prayers that we want answered, and God will present you with an idea. He'll present you with something that for you to do. And if we do it and we're able to bring it to pass, great things are to happen. One of my prayers has been lately is that, my kids are growing and they're involved in sports and different activities. But when you're an entrepreneur, you're almost kind of like tied to your business and you have to do a lot of things for, you're on all the time unless you actually create that, that opportunity to be able to kind of separate yourself from everything that's going on. But anyways, my prayer has been lately was for the opportunity to be able to work from anywhere and to be able to create a freedom that allows me to be able to attend all of my kids' events without having to shut down or having to make adjustments in a way that kind of disrupts things a little bit. And so what happened was that as I prayed on this, God brought an idea to me, and it was about writing a book. And I was just like, okay, finding the time to write the book, and God, I don't even know how to even begin or where do I even start? And so, I began to look around, and I actually ended up purchasing a book on how to actually write a book. So I ended up buying this book called published, okay, and by a guy by the name of Chandler Bolt. And he owns this place called Self Publishing School. I met Chandler back in 2019. We actually did a TED Talk together, and we kind of hit it off, and and just kind of got to know each other because he was in the green room with me. He was preparing for his talk. I was preparing for my talk, and in that regards. But he's grown this company to something amazing called Self Publishing School, and I decided to kind of reach back out to him and his team on how to write this book that God was calling me to write. And I was just like, okay, I bought his book, started reading through his book. I said, wow, this is amazing. It really breaks down every step and stage on how to do things, and talks about how to go from the proven path to go from blank page to 10,000 copies sold. And then so as I scroll through the book, it really gives you a breakdown on what to do, before you start writing, and talks about the Moore method and tells you how to get from rough draft to a finished manuscript, and all about the production of the book and the pre-launch and how to launch your book and selling the book after the launch, and how to implement all these things that go into becoming an author, but not just an author, but a published author that is seeking to become a #1 bestseller. And that idea, I was like, I love this, and let's just give this a chance. Let's just give it a shot, and let's just see what's to happen. So I ended up enrolling into their school. I ended up getting a great coach, guy by the name of Brett, and he began to walk me through these steps and stages. And so I believe this project started back in, I want to say, April of 2022. And so we are, and it was just a lot of writing. A lot of guidance, just seeking God on how to put these things together. Because remember, we started off with a blank page. And their method is that you don't just start writing. You want to map things out. You want to literally go and begin to create a mind map where you're actually writing things down. And so they do this thing, talk about the magic of mind mapping. And it talks about how you got to prepare for your session, and how you got to fill out your mind map, and how you have to go through all these different steps and stages in order to be able to get things where they need to be, because you got to get your ideas out. You got to get them out. And sometimes it's not just starting and just start writing. It's I'm going to take all my ideas and put them down on paper. And then I'm going to begin to kind of categorize them and seeing what stands out, what could be a chapter. What's strong enough that we can add more support to. And then you kind of build your outline from all the ideas that you put down on this paper. And after a while, it becomes a form and a structure and a foundation for you to actually build on. And so that's what I did. I began that process, and began working through those things, and they have a really, really good thing how they do this thing. I mean, it's amazing. The team that they develop, from their coaches to their formatters to their publishers to this one girl I was working with. Her name is Jordan. How she's just able to kind of help you navigate this track in that regards. But it was just an amazing experience. Okay, so I followed every step, and we're getting to the place now where I actually have a proof copy of the book that I've written. Look at this. It's called Make God Famous. And, it has a back cover on it. You can see kind of how that works there. For those that are just listening to this, I'm just showing the book right now and just showing you what God has done. And it's absolutely amazing, because it's a pretty decent sized book. And we talk about how to go from villain to hero to beyond your best self. And if you'd like a copy of this, it will be available on Amazon towards the end of January of 2023. So go get a copy. invite your friends to get copies and read the book. Go and write a review once you read a chapter or so, and just let's just get better. Let's make God famous. And so as we're going to this place, as we write in this book, I had to develop and reimagine, what I wanted my life to be like. Okay. I wanted to be able to be in a position where I had the freedom to be able to go different places, but at the same time, be able to inspire and encourage people everywhere I went. And so it's just, we're looking to literally walk in the steps of being an author now and life coach, but at the same time, traveling around, giving speeches and giving talks and inspiring people to make God famous, to actually live for a cause much larger than yourself, to take care of yourself so that you can better take care of others, and to literally get to the place where you operate as the superhero, version of yourself. And so that's where we are. That's what we want. We want to become the best versions of ourselves. And hopefully that's a desire of yours as well, because, the goal is to literally make God famous, serving a cause much larger than yourself, allowing yourself to do things that you haven't done before, asking God to help you see things that you haven't seen before. So he presented me with an idea based off of a prayer that I prayed. And so it isn't always necessarily something dropped from the sky. It's more so, God, what do you want me to do next? Oftentimes God will give us a seed, but it's our job to plant it. It's our job to cultivate it. It's our job to water it. It's our job to make sure it has the right sunlight so that it can grow and be able to produce fruit. So did God give you an idea? Has he given you something? Was it something that you prayed for, but it might have came to you in a different sight of what you haven't understood before? So we got to get to the place where we can reimagine. We have to reimagine what we think our life should look like or could look like, and kind of look at things from a little bit different perspective. So, I always encourage people to be the best versions of themselves. And I always encourage people to be the best you in everything that you do. But, God is calling us to more. God is calling us to be a better version of ourselves in multiple areas of our life. And our goal should be to make God famous and to be that superhero self, be our superhero self versus the villain version. Now, if you want to hear more about that, I'm telling you, I want you to go pick up a copy of this book, Make God Famous, How to Go from Villain to Hero to Beyond Your Best Self. Now, this is a proof copy, but the actual copy will be available here really, really soon. And I would really, really appreciate you kind of supporting that project, because it's going to bless your life. I've read through it multiple times, and a lot of times it blesses my life every time that I read it. And I just give God all the glory for this opportunity to be able to share with you some things that are going to help you become a better version of yourself. Now, when I say better version, it's no dig at you saying that you're not good already, or you're not really, you're not amazing already. That's not what I'm saying, because you think about it, that whether or not our phone is outdated or not, it's still sending us upgrades to the very thing that's working, that could be working great. But it's just that they've come out with more things and got a greater understanding, and they go back and fix some of the bugs and things that kind of showed up as what comes with use of any device or any application of things that are going on in your life. So be encouraged literally to be the best version of yourself. And we want to have a mindset that's of growth and not of being so fixed. Okay. And so as I promised, I told you we're going to talk a lot more about, a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. And so that we can get an understanding on how all of that works. And so one of the things that, we want to move forward to, like, why does it matter? Okay. Why does it matter about living with a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset? Because, I told you a growth mindset is the belief that you can learn, grow, and change through effort and learning. Okay. It's about being open to new ideas and seeing challenges as opportunities for growth. So a closed mindset or a fixed mindset, right, is the belief that your abilities and intelligence are fixed and cannot be changed. It's about seeing challenges as threats and avoiding them. Okay? So we don't, we know that without challenge, there's no change. And if you're not getting better, you're actually getting worse because everything else around us is growing. So we want to make sure that we're in a position and we're in a place where we think of a growth mindset. And so research has shown that people with a growth mindset are more likely to be successful in life because they're willing to take risk. They're willing to try new things. They're willing to learn from mistakes. There's some things in life that you have to fail at in order to know how to get better at it. And so we often have a poor relationship with failure. And I think school does that. School does that, where if you have a test and you don't do well on your test, they say that you failed your test. And now that grade literally sticks with you, throughout the course of your semester, or throughout the course of your 9 weeks or however you're doing this, right? However your school runs. And that failure just stays with you, and it can affect your grade point average, from that moment and from times to come. But failure is one of those things where it's like we're supposed to get back up and be able to learn from. And it should not be something that is held against us if we're using it as an opportunity. We might have made a mistake. We might have messed up. We might have done something that we may not be super proud of, right? But it's like, let's not let that mistake hold us captive in a place where we don't allow ourselves to grow from that. And there's some things in life that you can only learn from mistakes. So people of a growth mindset are also more resilient and better able to bounce back from setbacks. You got to understand that tests and trials and things are going to happen in life. But it's up to us to be able to overcome those obstacles and overcome those setbacks when they come. On the other hand, people with a fixed mindset may actually avoid the challenge altogether and give up much more easily, which can hold them back and prevent them from ever reaching their full potential. It's like, you ever had a piece of fruit that hasn't been totally ripe? So let's just say a green banana, right? I don't know if you've ever had or if eaten a green banana, but they don't taste as sweet. They're not as soft, right? And they don't quite have the flavor of a banana that is mature. Okay? So what happens is that you want to eat that banana at the right time, when it's ripe and when it's reached its full potential, versus, being a part of it where it's underdeveloped. But if you don't take any risk in life, okay, if you don't face any challenges or you just avoid challenges altogether, the opportunity for you to get better, the opportunity for you to reach your full potential and to be able to max out who you are is decreased. You want to become the best you in everything you do, every day, and in every way. So the question is, how do we cultivate a growth mindset? It really starts with believing that our abilities and our intelligence are not fixed. They're not fixed. They actually can be developed, through effort and learning. And it's about embracing challenges and seeing them as opportunities to grow and learn. So we almost have to reframe and reimagine how we look at an obstacle, right? So we're going to get better, but we have to put these things into practice. It's also about being open to feedback and learning from our mistakes. That's right. Open to feedback. But it's not just about changing our mindset. We also have to help others cultivate a growth mindset, because we want to offer encouragement, support, and a positive learning environment so we can help others to see their own potential and embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. So we want to put ourselves in a position where we can actually encourage encouragers. That's kind of where I am in life right now. My heart goes out to leaders and those that are constantly in positions where they're giving out so much. They're giving out, energy, and they're giving out strength, and people are always coming to them for answers. Now, you don't necessarily have to be a CEO of a company or an organization to have that happen. You can be a parent, a mother, a father, where your children are coming to you with questions and answers and things in that regards. You can be a teacher in a classroom, and people are always coming to you for answers. So, whatever venue that you're in, you can be a coach, you might be a minister, you might be a pastor, you might be a grandmother, you might be a grandfather, you might be just a friend that is just reaching out, that's just in position that is able to share some inspiring words with somebody else. But listen to me, I have a heart for, those that are going to encourage other people that are trying to encourage others. I truly believe that it is important for you to make yourself a priority sometimes, to be able to take care of yourself so that you can better service other people. You think about it, when you're on an airplane and then you're getting ready to take off, the flight attendant comes out and they begin to kind of give you instructions just in case something were to go not according to regular scheduled programming, if you know what I'm saying. And so there's one part in their explanation. They say, after they tell you where the exit lanes are, and they say, in the result, if there was ever a loss of cabin pressure, that there's going to be some masks that are going to fall down from the ceiling. And what I need you to do, before you try to help anybody else, is to take your mask and put it over your face first so that you can provide your body with oxygen so that you can help more people. Now, if you don't put your mask on first and you go to try to help somebody, you literally may limit the amount of people you can help. At the same time, you may not survive, but your heart was in the right place. Your thought was in the right place. I'm trying to help people. But you know what? You have to have literally your basic and essential needs met before you can start giving out all this stuff. So I just pray that each and every one of you will embrace a growth mindset and open yourselves up to endless possibilities and opportunities for learning and growth that life may offer. And so, we're just in a place where we're literally trying to get better. And at the end of the day, our life should be about making God famous. Now, I had mentioned the book, and this book is basically, I mentioned the book, Make God Famous, okay? And show it to you again here. And it's something that literally God used me to do. And it is a roadmap, for individuals that are looking to transform themselves from the villain in their own story into heroes, using God's guidance and strength. So this book is talks about, through a series of actionable steps, including breaking down goals into smaller, more manageable chunks and seeking out an excellent coach. You're going to be able to learn how to tap into your full potential, to use your God-given gifts to make a positive impact on the world. So throughout this book, I share a lot of inspiring anecdotes and motivational lessons and encouraging you to take a leap and embrace change. Okay? So whether you're struggling to find motivation or simply looking to become, your best self, listen, Make God Famous offers the tools and guidance you need to make that transformation a reality. So when it comes out, I'm telling you, towards the end of this month of January 2023, I want you to go grab that book on Amazon. Now, if you're listening to this later, get on Amazon and look for that book, Make God Famous. You want to start your journey to becoming a hero today. It's powerful, and it is a inspiring self-help book with the guidance of God that I believe is going to bless your life and also the lives of others, because you're going to be able to activate some things that may be lying dormant right now. So thank you for your support, and thank you for your patience on this book coming out. But I really truly appreciate all the love that is being shown right now. So we want to get to the place where, like I said, we want to be of a growth mindset. And I'm going to tell you again that a growth mindset is the belief that an individual's abilities can be developed and strengthened through effort, learning, and perseverance. And so, like, this concept, I didn't necessarily make up this concept of a growth mindset. This actually comes from, first introduced by a Stanford University psychologist, by a lady by the name of Carol Dweck. And she did it in her work on motivation and achievement. And they found out that people with a growth mindset view challenges and obstacles as opportunities to learn and to grow. So while those of a fixed mindset believe that their abilities are set in stone and cannot be changed. So how many of us are walking around with a thought process where we don't believe things can change? We believe that this is the way it is, this is the way it was, and this is the way it always will be. Ooh, that's a dangerous place to be. Not when God is progressive. Not when God is pushing us forward to be a better version of ourselves. So the idea of a growth mindset can be applied to various settings, such as education, the workplace, to improve motivation, performance, and well-being. So here are a few examples of what a growth mindset may look like in different contexts, okay? So in education, a student with a growth mindset may approach a difficult math problem by seeking help from their teachers or peers, okay? Rather than giving up and thinking that they're, quote unquote, just bad at math, right? So they might see getting bad grades on a test as an opportunity to learn and study more effectively, rather than than as a reflection of their intelligence or worth. Another example will be in the workplace, right? An employee with a growth mindset might approach a challenging project as an opportunity to learn new skills and take on more responsibility rather than shying away from it. Okay, so they might also be more open to feedback and willing to admit their mistakes as they understand that these are opportunities for growth. So we're looking for things. We're looking for areas. We're looking for opportunities so that we can get better. And the more you know, the more you're going to grow. And that feedback is necessary for our growth and development. Okay, so maybe you play sports. Maybe you're a coach, right? An athlete with a growth mindset might view a setback, such as an injury or maybe a losing streak, as an opportunity to work on new aspects and be more open to coaching and looking for ways to improve their performance, as ways for their game so they can recover and either come back stronger if they're coming back from an injury. So it's growth is important because sometimes when people get injured, coming back from that injury, believing that you can still continue to go and you can still continue to grow and you can still do this thing, it comes from, you got to grow. You can't come back and just live in this place of fear. And, but that's just kind of how that works. How about this? You can also, an example of growth mindset might look like this, where in the areas of personal development. So a person with a growth mindset might see failure as an opportunity in learning, learning what went wrong and to improve their approach the next time. All right. So they may not take it as personal failure, and they're looking at other ways to get to their goals. Now, these are just examples of a growth mindset, but it's not limited to just these specific areas of growth. You can apply it anywhere. You can apply it at home. You can apply it, at your church. You can apply it, with your team. You can apply it in multiple areas of life. Now, on the other hand, there's this fixed mindset. And so if you're not growing, you're fixed. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. All right. So a fixed mindset is the belief that one's abilities, intelligence, and personality traits are fixed and they cannot be changed. So here are a few examples of what a fixed mindset looks like in action. So we have a student who avoids challenges or challenging classes because they believe they will not be able to do well in them. You have an athlete who avoids competing against strong opponents because they believe they will not be able to win. A fixed mindset also looks like an employee who does not want to take on new responsibilities because they believe they are not capable of learning new skills. How about this? An entrepreneur who does not want to invest in new technology or processes because they believe their current methods are the only way to succeed. Another area where we have fixed mindsets is, how about a person, who avoids to try new things because they believe they are not capable of changing their habits. Another one is that someone who avoids feedback because they believe they know everything and they don't need to improve. That's a fixed mindset. And if you're trying to become the best version of yourself, if you're trying to find the superhero version of yourself versus being a villain, a fixed mindset is not going to be the way to go. These examples, that illustrate that people with a fixed mindset tend to resist or they resist change, and are less likely to take risk because they believe that, they cannot change. They believe that their abilities are not going to be any different. They believe that they can't improve in their performance. And they may be discouraged by challenges and setbacks and may not see opportunities for growth and development. Is that you? Do you fall in this category of living with a fixed mindset? Is this you? Is this something that you stay with? And so, as an encourager, I want to share some strategies that can help you develop a growth mindset. If you're willing to change, if you see that, I've been living with this fixed mindset. I've been kind of down on myself. I've been lacking motivation in certain areas. I don't see myself as great. If you're of that mindset, or if you don't see how you can grow, or if you're afraid to take on responsibilities, or because you can't learn new skills, let me introduce you some strategies. They're going to help you develop this growth mindset. So developing a growth mindset can be a process that takes time and effort. But there are several strategies that can be used to help shift one's perspective and mindset. So one of the things that you can do is that you can begin to reframe failure. Okay, so when I say that reframe failure, I mean that you can learn to view failure as an opportunity to learn and grow rather than as a personal setback. This is huge, because if I think that I tried something and then I failed and that I am that failure, well, I'm not going to open up myself to growth and opportunity. I have to literally reimagine or look at that failure in a different way. There are many things that we've done in life where we that we failed at, and we might have just needed more practice. We might have just needed, a more opportunity. We might have just needed to reframe that failure and look at it from a different perspective so that we can learn and that we can grow. Another strategy is to embrace challenges. So seeking out a challenge and viewing them as an opportunity to learn and to improve. Oftentimes, we won't necessarily look for obstacles. We try to find the path of least resistance. Okay, and those things aren't necessarily going to lead us to the best version of ourselves. So when we're faced with a challenge, when something comes our way, I remember when I was doing men's physique shows in bodybuilding and competing on stages, and it was challenging. It was very, 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 very challenging to my nutrition, challenging my, my training, challenging my posing, in literally getting out there on stage and allowing myself to be judged by random people against, random people, and compared to other individuals that have gone on a journey to become the best version of themselves. And so I looked at this challenge as an opportunity to learn and to grow, and I embraced it. And that was the only way that I was able to become a national champion. That was the only way that I was able to literally get my professional card and be recognized, across the nation. And so I say that because it was a challenge. And if I hadn't embraced that challenge, none of those accolades or things would have come to pass. Another thing is that we want to seek out feedback. So you want to use feedback as a tool for learning and growth rather than taking it as personal criticism. So, I do a lot of life coaching. And one of the things I got to do is I got to begin to kind of guide people and point out some things as they share things with me. So if someone comes to me and says, I'm overweight and I can't figure out how to quite get to the place that I want to get to. But, and they begin to kind of share with me, their lifestyle. And they might wake up, and eat, they're eating bacon and sausage and biscuits and gravy and pancakes filled with syrup and butter. And that's what they do every day. And then for lunch, they're running to McDonald's or Wendy's or some kind of fast food restaurants. And they're eating all these hamburgers and fries and drinking all these soft drinks filled with all this sugar. And then they're drinking coffee all day long for energy. They're not exercising. They're staying up super late, not getting enough rest, maybe drinking 1 cup of water a week. And I begin to provide them with some feedback based off of that, saying that, listen, this lifestyle that you're living is contributing to, how you feel and how you look. And so began to, give them some direction on how to improve and how to get better and how we need to drink more water and eliminate some of these sugary drinks and get rid of some of this processed foods and start, adding more healthy food choices to our nutrition plan in our daily diet. And getting more rest and reducing our stress levels and becoming more active so that we're exercising on a regular basis, at least 30 minutes a day, so that, you're feeling better and finding ways to encourage other people and reading and learning and just thinking better about ourselves. Because the things that you value, you're going to take better care of. So once you recognize that how valuable you are, right, you're automatically going to take better care of yourself. That's just kind of how this thing works. The pair of shoes that you have on right now, all right, if you found out that they were $50,000, all right, you would no longer kick them off and throw them in the side of the closet somewhere or throw them, across the room or throw them in your trunk or throw them on the other side of the seat of your car. You would probably take better care of them. Probably make sure that you probably washed and cleaned them if you're going to wear them, or you may not even wear them anymore because you recognize the value of these things. I'm not saying that shoes are very valuable, but I know it was just an example that I'm using. But that's the thing. Like, we can't be afraid of personal criticism or categorize feedback as personal criticism, but use it as a tool for learning and growth. Another thing is that we can practice gratitude. Cultivate an attitude of gratitude for what you have and what you can learn rather than focusing on what you lack. Now listen, I'll tell it to you like this. If we don't learn to be grateful for the things that we have, when you get more, it'll never be enough. Think about it. And that's just kind of, that's why there's so much greed out there. You wonder why, okay, this guy gets a $30 million bonus every year and he's still asking for a raise. There's no gratitude for the things that you already have. And so it's always going to be a place of, I need more, I need more, I need more, I need more. Versus saying, you know what? I have enough and I'm grateful for the things that I have. And if more comes, then so be it. But practicing gratitude, and having that attitude where that's something that we just live by, right? It's going to help you learn rather than focusing on what you lack. Because our gift that we have is literally supposed to be a present for somebody else. And if we're not grateful for the little things that we have, we won't present those things to other people. We'll just hold on to us, not understanding that literally what you have, what you give away, can really, really help somebody in need. And it may not necessarily be monetary. It could just be encouragement. It could be your gift or whatever God has given you to be great and proficient at, that you've worked to cultivate and to grow. Another strategy is to be open-minded. Okay, so be willing to consider different perspectives and ideas and be open to learning from others. I consider myself a student teacher, where I'm always in a place where I'm trying to learn from whoever I come in contact with. Now, I'm not judging whether it's good, whether it's bad, but I'm going to learn something. Whether I agree with you or I disagree with you, I'm going to learn something. And being open to growth and being open to new ideas and perspectives. It didn't necessarily say I'm going to go with it and I'm necessarily going to apply it, but I learned about it and have a better understanding. And I can go deeper on my growth and learning if I want to. So we want to make sure that we're open to learn from others, whether we agree with the person or not, but at least learn. At least be open to hearing what they have to say. No one said you have to take it and practice it and put it into play right here, right now. But just be open to learning new things, especially if there's an area of your life that you're struggling in. And this person can literally provide the answer that you may or may not be looking for. But if it's going to help you grow and develop in a positive way, this strategy might be something that you might want to consider. And the last strategy I want to share with you is reflect and evaluate. So take time to reflect on your own mindset, beliefs, attitudes, and evaluate if they're serving you well. There's an age-old adage out there that says, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But the thing is, if it's broke, you need to do something about it. You need to fix the thing that's broke so that you don't go around life living in abnormality, right? Pretending that this thing is not broken. And now you adapt to all these different things. I've seen one time, where somebody had their side view mirror knocked off their car. And what they did was they literally took one of those hand mirrors that you have, that you probably can go buy from the store someplace, some kind of beauty supply store or whatever, like a hand mirror that you would actually look into. And they had the hand mirror taped to the side of the vehicle. Talk about innovation. Talk about creativity. But the thing is, though, they began to live as if that hand mirror being taped to the side of your car was normal. That's not normality. They began to live in abnormality because it was a fix for something that was broken. But it didn't. But the fix did not restore the thing back to its original. It was still broken. It was still, but it gave some vision. And so all I'm saying is that we want to get to the place where, we evaluate and we fix the things that are broken, and not get to the place where we start accepting things that is just a Band-Aid and not the actual fix or cure for whatever it is, or whatever situation that we're in. So it's important to note that developing a growth mindset is a process that requires practice and persistence. It also requires a change in language, mindset, and self-talk. What we say to ourselves, and how we talk to ourselves. So using more growth-oriented words, focusing on the process and not necessarily the outcome. And being a more self-compassionate person can lead to the development of a growth mindset. On the other hand, developing a fixed mindset can happen unconsciously. When people focus on the outcome, avoiding challenges and avoiding feedback, they develop a fixed mindset. And people can use self-talk that emphasizes their limitations and avoids opportunities for growth. They also can focus too much on the outcome than the process, and they avoid taking risk. We want to be of the other side. We want to make sure that we're doing the very things that we need to do. Now, I mentioned self-talk, and their self-talk is so important because it's the very things that we say to ourselves. It refers to the thoughts and language that we use to communicate with ourselves. Okay, so negative self-talk is characterized by critical, judgmental, and negative thoughts. Now, on the other hand, we have positive self-talk, which is characterized by supportive, constructive, and positive thoughts. All right, so let's give some examples of what negative self-talk is. So negative self-talk and thoughts include things like, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough, or I'll never be successful, or I always make mistakes, or something like, I'm not smart enough, or they might mention the statement, I am a failure. So these types of thoughts can be very detrimental to our mental and emotional well-being. And as they can lead to feelings of low self-esteem, self-doubt, and depression. Negative self-talk can also lead, guess what? To a fixed mindset. And that's the mindset we're trying to get away from, which can make it very difficult to achieve our goals and be open to learning and growth. And that's not where we want to live. We don't want to be where we're fixed, or we don't want to be in a place where we don't believe that we can change. And it's all about getting better and reaching our full potential. Now, on the other hand, positive self-talk, those things can include things like this. I can do this. I am capable and strong. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to learn from my mistakes. I'm smart and capable. I can achieve my goals. Positive self-talk can be very, 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 very beneficial for our mental and emotional well-being, as it can help us feel more confident, motivated, and optimistic. Listen, positive self-talk can lead to growth and development. And you know what else it leads? To a growth mindset, which can make it easier to achieve our goals and be open to learning and growth. So it's important to note that not all negative thoughts are bad, okay? Now we talk about it, but not all negative thoughts are bad. Sometimes they can serve as a way of being realistic, identifying areas of improvement, and making plans to achieve goals. On the other hand, positive thoughts should not be unrealistic and shouldn't ignore the difficulties. All right, so developing the ability to recognize negative self-talk and replacing it with more positive, constructive thoughts is a powerful tool for achieving our goals and fostering personal growth. All right. So it's important to acknowledge the negative thoughts, but replace them with a more balanced and realistic thoughts. It's going to come down to us reimagining. It's going to come down to what we can see. Asking God to open up our eyes so that we can see something that we've never seen before. So we're just getting to the place where I just want you to become the best version of yourself. I want you to be the best you in everything you do, every day, in every way. But it's like, if we can continue to live by these misconceptions of what a growth mindset is, that we'll be in trouble. And there are several misconceptions about growth mindset that are commonly held, right? Because sometimes we don't believe that this is for us. You know, growth mindset, some people believe that a growth mindset is only for people who are struggling academically or professionally. But guess what? In reality, a growth mindset can be beneficial for anyone who wants to improve, regardless of their current level or performance. Some people believe that a growth mindset means thinking you can do anything. That's not true. Okay? So having a growth mindset actually means believing you can improve and develop your abilities and intelligence through effort and learning. But this does not mean that anything is possible without limitations. Okay? So another misconception out there is that a growth mindset only applies to intellectual abilities. While a growth mindset is often associated with academic or professional success, it can also be applied to other areas of life, such as physical fitness, artistic pursuits, and also personal relationships. Oftentimes people may believe that you either born with a growth mindset or not. And that's not true either. People of all ages can learn to adapt a growth mindset. And this is something that can be cultivated and developed through specific actions and practices. Some believe that emphasizing the importance of effort will lead to children feeling bad about themselves if they struggle. Actually, kids may feel proud of themselves for working hard and resilient when they face challenges. So this isn't to make them feel bad. They actually may get a sense of accomplishment by facing and overcoming the obstacle. And the last misconception I want to share with you is that people believe that a growth mindset is a quick fix solution. Listen, mindset is not simple to switch. It's just not. It's not real simple to switch and flip it quick. It takes consistent work, being open to learning and self-reflection to build and maintain a growth mindset. Okay? And so we're in a place where it's time. It's literally time to grow and develop and become the best version of ourselves. So as I leave you, I want you to imagine two people. One with a fixed mindset and one with a growth mindset. The person with the fixed mindset believes their abilities are set in stone. They believe they can't change or improve their intelligence or talents. On the other hand, the person with a growth mindset believes that they can develop and improve their abilities through hard work and perseverance. Now, let's just say that both people want to learn a new skill, such as playing the piano, right? The person with the fixed mindset may give up quickly, believing that they just don't have the talent for it. However, the person with the growth mindset will approach the challenge with a positive attitude, knowing that the practice and determination they can improve. It's going to take those things. Research has shown that having a growth mindset can lead to greater success in both personal and professional settings. Those with a growth mindset tend to have a more positive attitude towards changes and setbacks, and are more likely to bounce back from failure. They also tend to be more resilient and motivated in the face of obstacles. However, it is important to note that a growth mindset is not just about being positive and optimistic. It's about being open to learning and growth, and being willing to put in the hard work and effort to improve. So how can we develop this growth mindset? One way is to remind ourselves that our abilities are not set in stone and that we can improve our effort. It's also helpful to embrace challenges and see them as opportunities for growth rather than viewing them as threats. Listen to me. Having a growth mindset can lead to greater success and fulfillment in life. It's all about being open to learning and growth and being willing to put in the hard work and effort to improve. So let's all strive to develop a growth mindset and see where it takes us. I truly believe that this is your year for you to become the best version of yourself. I truly believe that this is a year that you get in the best shape of your life. But we're going to have to change our mindset. We're going to have to reimagine some things about ourselves. We're going to have to see some things differently and be open to growth and development and to change, and not be fixed believing that it is what it is. So like I always do, I want to encourage you to be the best you in everything you do, every day and in every way. And if you have the opportunity, go check out my new book. It's entitled Make God Famous: How to Go from Villain to Hero to Beyond Your Best Self. And I promise you that it's going to bless your life. So thank you for tuning in to this episode of Finding Your Water and learning all about the growth mindset. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends, family, coworkers, on your page, throughout your social media, so that we can all grow better together. Until next time, much love. Coach Joe, aka Jotivation. I'm out. Peace.